Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today's vlog is kind of just a very chill one. I have been running around doing errands all day and I finally just have some downtime to sit. I'm currently drinking some coffee. I've already kind of finished it, which is why you can't really see it in here, but I am trying to basically sip some of it, or actually do this rather quickly because I want to do my pre-workout. Even with coffee today, guys, I'm still just, my energy is, I can feel it waning, and I need to work out. I have not worked out in the past couple of days and my body is really craving the treadmill. That is my go-to exercise machine that we have here. And yeah, so I'm trying to down this as quickly as possible, start my pre-workout so I can go and work out. But I wanted to start today's video just kind of here talking to you guys, just a little chit chat. Today, actually, we're gonna start a brand new book. So if you guys watched my previous vlog, we finished Rabbits and I rated that a 5-star and I just loved it. You know, if you heard me rant, I'll say this again, Terry Miles, all-time fave. He just has really stunning writing. He is such a great storyteller, and so I'm not surprised that it's, you know, a 5-star. And because my journey with Rabbits ended, I'm still on this high of fantasy sci-fi, and the next book in my January TBR is A Winter's Promise by Davos. This is the Mere Visitor series, book 1. I have heard a lot of things about this book. If I remember correctly, we're dealing with a lady who has powers. Yes, she has the ability to travel through mirrors and she can see into objects hidden past, and there seems to be a marriage proposal in this book that kind of leads her into some danger. And our main character's name is Ophelia, by the way, in case you did not know. And yeah, this is a little chunky book. I love that it's so flippable. I know that this is a preference to some, but the fact that these pages are just very flexible, it just gives me so much happiness. But we are starting this book today and I'm still in the high of Rabbits, so I'm really hoping that this again just keeps me at this all-time peak that I feel January as a month is just giving me. This month I feel has been a month of renewal, just in general, not only with reading superb books, but kind of shifting my mindset a little bit towards life and my goals and just certain things that I want to accomplish this year. It's been very true. I have been going out a lot. Well, okay, when I mean going out a lot, I don't mean going to clubs or something like that. I celebrated a friend's birthday yesterday. It was really nice. I got to see a couple of friends already, which is really nice because I haven't seen a lot of my friends in a very long time, just because I've been a homebody, and you know, seasonal mood swings have, I feel they're definitely a thing for me personally. And so yeah, that was really great. I feel January is just a great month for me to step out of my comfort zone a little bit and just all aspects of life, and it's been quite astounding, and I don't know, it's just been amazing. So I cannot wait to read this, but I need to finish my coffee. And I know that sounds oh my gosh, it's such a chore. It's really not. I just have this list. Well, where did I put my list? Oh, it's underneath here. So I'm definitely a list person, you guys. So I have a list of basically everything that I need to accomplish today, and I have to say, I don't know if it's the notepad that I have or what. Maybe it's a uplift of positivity. I have definitely been, you know, following accounts of positivity, looking at positive things on Instagram and Pinterest, and I don't know if it's a mind shift change that I've had, but writing down my goals, whether they're small little tasks or just big things, have been very instrumental in my mental health. And basically what I've been doing, so I started it last week, so I really haven't had enough time to really see how this overall changes my life or my moods. But last week, I've always been a list person, but I started doing list of things to do today, kind of reminders for things to do tomorrow, and then at the very end I put goals. And I tend to kind of meditate on this list before I, you know, put pen to paper. And basically with my goals, I've, you know, basically told myself, you know, you're going to have an excited day, take pleasure in the little moments. You know, I read something on, or not read, I saw something on Instagram where this girl was how to romanticize your life can be little things. Like she plays French music while she's cooking. And so I started getting back into podcast. I'm a podcast fiend, especially with like true crime, unsolved murder cases, girl bossing. Like I just listen to like a variety of podcasts, and I noticed on my Spotify account that like I really haven't been at all engaged in podcasts. It's been a lot of like music, which is totally fine, but for the most part, like something that I dearly love hasn't really been a part of my life in 2021. And so in 2022 I started listening to podcasts instead of, you know, staying on TikTok and a lot of social media. Mostly TikTok has actually been the one that I've just noticed takes a lot of my time away from me, which it does give me like moments of pleasure and enjoyability, but, or is that even a word? Moments of joy. I don't know why I said enjoyability. But I have noticed that it does give me like a decline in wanting to do stuff. So anyways, I have been putting goals like that on these sheets of paper along with my list, and last week I started it. I put a time limit on the TikTok app of 1 hour, which has been quite phenomenal. My time being on my phone has decreased by 50%, which is phenomenal, and it's all thanks to that little like time app that my best friend told me about. And so I've been really just listening to podcasts, reading a lot of rabbits, which that was amazing, and just following this list of responsibilities and duties. And I feel like personally I've gotten through so many things on this list, and you know, this even helped me like read a lot of rabbits. Like I had goals, and you know, I always say this, like I'm a slow reader on this channel, and I feel like this is like long-winded. It's already almost 7 minutes. Oh my gosh. But I haven't talked to you. Well, I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a long time. What was I gonna say? Yeah, like I put goals of how much I wanted to read rabbits, and there was a part of me that was so excited when I finished rabbits, because it's all kind of thanks to like this note thing. And I know this is like so simple to say, you guys, but basically I'm just letting you know that writing down your goals and your daily things of like what you want to complete, like don't overwhelm yourself. You know, I kind of break it up like morning, afternoon, and evening times, and just like try to be as realistic as possible with how much it'll take me to complete certain tasks, including reading. Because I am a slow reader, I have to make sure that I account for a certain set amount of hours if I want to read a certain amount of pages. And I've come to the conclusion, at least with rabbits, that with a book that excites me that much, I can read about 100 pages in what feels like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. It just really depends, is what I've noticed. And if I do like a full like 3 hours, you know, that's a little bit over 100 pages. Not by much, but a little bit over. And so I kind of know now what to expect when reading A Winter's Promise, because this is a little chunky monster, and I do need to set some time in to be realistic with myself, and also doing other things in my life. So I know that was like kind of long-winded, but I feel like a lot has kind of been just going in my mind, and I wanted to tell you guys about it. But anyways, I'm gonna finish my coffee. It's not technically, well, it's kind of the afternoon-ish evening, so I'm probably gonna finish this, do my pre-workout, workout, obviously, like I really need to do that, get on the treadmill, start it, and then I'll get back to you guys after I shower. Basically, we're just gonna dive deep into A Winter's Promise. We're going to investigate it, we're going to talk about it, and we're gonna see what this book is all about. If you hear the dishwasher, apologies for that. I'm literally in the kitchen, so yeah, we're just gonna have to deal with that. But I do have a reading update. I'm currently drinking some pre-workout. I'm about to go into the gym, hop on the treadmill for like an hour, listen to a murder mystery podcast, which is called, if you're just like interested, I'm listening to Your Own Backyard, The Disappearance of Kristen Smart. This is on Spotify. I've been following this case for a couple of years now, and I didn't realize, but this past summer, the host of the podcast, his name's Christopher, but I can't think of his last name, he updated on the case, and it looks like part of the case is going to court. They found some incriminating evidence, and so I'm just kind of like catching up and seeing what the latest drama and issue was about. But yeah, I'm gonna listen to that while I'm working out. But I did have a reading update, so I apologize that I didn't I didn't update you guys last night. I literally put the book down for like 2 seconds and I passed out. I was so tired, but I got on a new chapter. I'm on the journal chapter. I just started, so I'm on page 39, I believe, yes. And so far, we've kind of gotten to know Ophelia and her, I don't want to say past, but the history of Anima the Ark that she currently lives on. We got to meet her great uncle, who's an archivist, or he's like the archivist of the archives building. She runs a museum of sorts. And from what I've gathered, her mom basically planned a marriage between her and this person. We don't know who he is, we don't know his name, we don't know what he looks like, but he's from a different arc. It's called the Pole, and it seems like the Pole is like a winter tundra. Like, it's just not a place that you want to go to. It's definitely different from her arc. We don't really get to know like her arc specifically just yet, and like what it captures, what it means, like why she lives there. But from what we gathered about the Pole, they have like gigantic animals. The people there are really rough. They're like hunters and huntresses, and she's kind of nervous. She's scared because she doesn't understand this alliance, because it definitely is like an alliance. It's like a business deal, or at least she thinks it is, and her great uncle thinks so too. And she's trying to catch up on any research or history that her ancestors may have left for her and her family, which there isn't that much. She found some, you know, old drawings. She, I think, finally found a journal, which, like I said, I haven't started it yet, but it seems like she found something that describes this particular arc and what her family, her distant ancestors, did while there. And so, yeah, we find out, you know, the Pole, we know that she's on Anima. But another thing that I noticed is, you know, she's been declining marriage offers, but they're like from distant cousins. And this is what the great uncle was talking about. And it sounds like this arc in particular may only have her lineage, like distant cousins, distant relatives, and they all are the offspring, or like the main lineage goes up to this person named Artemis. And Artemis is a person that survived the rupture of the old world. I don't really know like what in fact the rupture meant, like if the old world collapsed, did it implode, did it explode? Is that technically like our world and like these arcs are something different? I really don't know. Like, this is definitely fantasy / sci-fi, so I don't know how they left this rupture. But I do know that Artemis left. There were some founding people who were there at the time of the rupture, and they basically settled on Anima. And it seems like basically these people procreated and created their own community. And so it looks like they marry into one another, but it's completely normal. At least that's what the great uncle was kind of hinting at, because he was surprised that her mother was going to marry her off to someone like not on their arc, not like a distant cousin, nothing like that. And it seems like maybe, I don't know, this is like my theory, like maybe every arc is like a founding family from the rupture, and like each one has its own like business and theme. I don't know, maybe that, I'm kind of hinting at that. But yeah, so like we got to learn about Artemis, this founder. I don't know if Artemis is alive. It kind of sounds like maybe she is, or like she's just spoken about so much that it seems like she's just constantly there, but she's like the sole source. And then there's like a book that we don't really go too much into, but it's called a reliquary, or reliquary. Am I saying that right? It's one of a reliquary. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but it says, never on any account attempt to destroy this book. And it's just like a book with, you know, history and people, and that's pretty much all it is. But yeah, so she's just looking in the archives collection, trying to get as much information about this pole before she goes there, and it seems like she stumbled upon a journal. So that's basically where I'm at. At this point, I can't really, you know, tell you if I'm gonna like it. I can't, like, you know, pre-rate it. I can't do any of that. I mean, I do like her as a character. She just seems like one of those characters that just constantly observe, doesn't really talk too much. And maybe it's supposed to be because, like, we're supposed to be the ones, like, you know, observing with her, and based off like other characters' actions and judgment, we're going to, I guess, create the world as if like we were Ophelia. I hope that makes sense. I see that a lot of books where like really the main character doesn't really have any I don't want to say personality, but they don't have a lot of action or words, because like it's supposed to be like we're that person, like we're one and the same. I don't know if this book is going to be like that, but like from what I've gathered, it kind of feels like that. And it does read relatively fast. Even though this book looks really thick, it's pretty quick to just like go through the pages. I really am currently liking it. I like her great uncle. We don't know his name. He just seems like a really fun old character, just like someone that just seems like he can live forever. But I know that, well, maybe they're immortals in here, I really don't know. But yeah, so that's kind of my reading update. I plan on reading a lot today. I want to get to, I don't know, maybe like 200 pages. I do have some goals in mind for this book. And yeah, so today it is the morning. Like I said, I'm gonna work out right now. I do have a couple things to do for work, but I just wanted to give you this reading update to start this vlog. And yeah, so I don't know when I'm gonna have the chance to read again, but we definitely have some goals today. I do need to leave the house. I have an errand to run, so I'm thinking of doing that a little bit in the afternoon. And I think that's it. I'm kind of looking at my schedule. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I do have a couple other things, but today is like the first day that I've actually had nothing to really do, like errand wise, for the house or like for myself. So like I'm really enjoying the fact that I could probably just like sit down and read for hours and hours on end without any disruptions. For the past like 3 or 4 days, it's been non-stop for me. So I'm just really happy about that. But anyways, I will see you when I see you. welcome, good evening. I have both the dogs right next to me. You can't see them, but they are causing a lot of chaos. I'm not even gonna, this is kind of embarrassing, but this is like my third bowl of chicken noodle soup. I'm literally just letting it cool off. I finally made it up to the upstairs to the office. I've been working nonstop today. It's kind of insane. It's just been a crazy week. And next week is going to be even more crazy, so I feel like I have to put overtime, you guys. And, you know, work-life balance and everything, but yeah, it's just been kind of insane, but now I can kind of relax. I have been reading A Winter's Promise. I am basically almost halfway through. Like a few more pages and I'll be halfway. I think I'm in the middle of a chapter, which, you guys, I have not been using bookmarks, and I've just been beating myself up about it because this happens literally where I'm like, where did I end? I know I'm in the garden chapter somewhere in the 70s, so I'm like about here, so I'm really close to the middle. And I feel like my overall emotions, the only way I can describe it is that it's just pleasurable, thoroughly enjoyable. It feels like, you know, when you walk in a park, there's birds singing, there's butterflies, it's like a perfect 70-something degrees. You know, the sun is on your face, breeze is blowing in your hair. You're just having a great time. This book gives me that overall vibe, that feeling, and I quite like it. I don't know, like, I feel like I'm going through this book rather quickly. Now, I know I already described to you, like, kind of what this book is going to be about, but I feel like I have more clarity of what kind of is going on. I feel like we're almost halfway, and I still think we're like in the beginnings of everything. So we're learning about Ophelia. That's Hercules, by the way. We're learning about the pole. We're kind of learning about Anima. Like a bunch of, like, the first part is kind of like history and getting to know people. So if you don't like that, if you find that kind of being like slow paced, then it's gonna be a struggle. But I actually have really been enjoying it. I thought that this was gonna be a little bit more complicated to get into for some reason because it's sci-fi, I guess, but it really isn't. It's straightforward. There's some parts that I'm like, okay, wait, what? Like, when it comes to the world building, I tend to reread certain sections just to make sure I have an accurate picture in my head. But other than that, not too complicated, very easy. At this point, so Ophelia is getting married to this random guy. His name is actually Thorn. Very like tall, scrawny kid, but he looks very vicious. He's from the pole. We don't really know too much about it. Well, okay, we kind of do now, but in the beginning, you don't know too much about him. Other than that, he is also getting married to Ophelia. We don't know if he has powers. We kind of learn about the pole. It's basically an icy tundra with wild, big animals. And the way they describe the people, they're like hunters, they're like warriors kind of. To me, they just sound like Vikings. Like, I'm just picturing Vikings in my head, and that's based off of history that people from the Arc Anima wrote about and drew things and so on and so forth. So Ophelia is kind of, you know, looking through the history of the pole, what she's going to come across while there. She's kind of curious as to who she's going to be married to. She's not really in the mood to be married. I will say, I agree with a lot of how she's feeling. As a character, you can definitely tell that she disassociates from her everyday chaotic life. She has a huge family. And I don't know if I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this. Everyone on Anima is related to each other because of Artemis. Artemis is the Arc spirit. So there are spirits. Each Arc has a spirit. These are basically, I don't know, immortals from the old world Earth. And what I found out, we don't really know what the rupture exactly was, but basically the Earth broke apart and these large enough pieces became arcs and pretty much like distant worlds. And what they said in the book was like time is different for each arc, which I don't know how that happened. And then it seems like Artemis created Anima, like just everything about it. And every offspring of hers, which is basically everyone on this planet, has some sort of power. Now, Ophelia can walk through mirrors into like other places, and she can also touch an object, look into its past, and kind of see all of its owners, and she's like one of the best ones. Now, we do know that there is the Mother of Mothers. I don't know if I'm saying this right. It's like the Donyaness or Donyaness. Basically, this person was the one who like signed, sealed, delivered the news that, hey, you're getting married to this other person. It's like an alliance and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you say no, you're gonna get banished. She's basically like the speaker for Artemis, because Artemis is an observer. She's always stuck in her observer tower, just like looking at God knows what. And then this lady is like kind of the person that runs the planet. And yeah, so that's basically where we're at. We do meet Thorn too. Very reserved character, very upset and on edge for whatever reason. I mean, I don't know yet what's going on, but there's something quite serious. I definitely don't think he's a bad guy, but we shall see. He's not really liking this matrimony, but we don't really know why he wanted it in the first place. And it's weird because it's like, on the one hand, he's like telling Ophelia that you're not going to survive my arc, you know, it's too cold and bitter for you. But then it's like he takes her anyways. I don't know. I don't really know what his end goal or his motives are. We also kind of meet his family very briefly right now. So she's on the pole and kind of crazy of how to get there. It seems like this arc, you go to the arc through aircraft like a spaceship, took a long time. And then once you're on the arc, there's this floating, which I think it's this place. There's this floating habitable land where pretty much everyone lives on. And the people there, from what I have gathered, I don't really know like Thorn's magical abilities, but there are illusionists on this place, because you know how I told you it seems like a walk in the park where, you know, everything's like a full 70 degrees and breezy. They can do that on here. Like they can make you feel and believe as if you're in one of those places, which is very kind of cool. But the thing is with this place is that there are families, I don't know, I guess they're related. So the spirit for this place is called Farouk, and Farouk is basically all about hierarchies. He has favorites, he has like families he hates, and then he has families that he just basically disowned. And so if I'm not mistaken, I think his mother, or not his mother, but like his aunt, who's basically his mother, long story, but I'm not going to get into it because I feel like there's going to be some details into it. She kind of states that there's like 6 families that basically like hate each other, always in a war, something's always going on, one tries to outdo the other, and there's a hierarchy. There are servants here, so like Ophelia is kind of going through a huge culture shock because everyone on her arc just values each other equally. So she's not used to lackeys and servants, and she's definitely not used to like the rich versus the poor. And this place smells really bad. It smells like sewage for some reason. I don't really understand what this place is exactly. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get like more and more detail as we go like into the book, and I'm pretty sure into the series itself. But yeah, and so Ophelia, getting to know her, so she is very stubborn. We're going to find out, I guarantee she's going to do things because she's stubborn. She already kind of is doing it, which like I can understand why she is the way she is. She craves freedom, but it's because, you know, her crazy chaotic life and anima, not really like her day ins and day outs, but like she has a crazy family, doesn't really have an opinion for herself, doesn't really have a say in a lot of things. And so when she does, when she, you know, gets her freedom, she keeps it. And you know, this marriage is going to not allow her to be free, like, you know, free. And there's definitely something brewing on this arc when it comes to her. So what we've gathered is that basically she definitely is going to be involved in like giving Thorn children. That's definitely part of it. You know, obviously like you get married, you have children, yada yada yada. But there's some other things that we haven't yet come across that's not really being spoken about. Ophelia feels like there's something off, there's something wrong, but we don't know yet. So we don't know the full reasonings as to why she's on this arc, and I cannot wait to find out. So I know that was like long-winded and a lot to say, but yeah, your girl's almost halfway through the book, so I feel like that was to be expected. Like I said, I am currently loving it. I am gonna read just a little bit more, and yeah, I don't really have a goal for myself. I do maybe want to get to like 50 pages, 50, 60 pages, we'll see. It is a fast read, I'm not gonna lie. Very fast, very quick, just thoroughly enjoyable. I am curious to see what's gonna happen next. I'm not gonna give too many details after this point because I feel like the second half of the book is going to be very focused on like the plot and significant meanings, and I just don't want to spoil anything for you guys. So by this point, my food should definitely be touchable, bearable. So I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna probably play, I don't know, another booktubers video. I have so many people that I subscribe to where like they just drop videos the past couple of days, and I'm so behind. So I'm probably gonna find a couple, like I know Books and Lala dropped one, I think. So I'm probably gonna do or watch one of hers, and then I will see you when I see you. Hello, I'm in a different location. I am in bed. I just got my jammies on, you guys. I'm trying to go to bed just a little bit early. I need to wake up early tomorrow. Alex and I, within 24 hours, are taking a trip to Houston for a birthday party. Super, super excited, but I have not packed. I kind of vaguely know what I'm going to wear, but I need to pack my bag tomorrow. I need to tidy up the house. I honestly feel personally like I was a tornado in my own home. Just with like my high anxious energy today, a lot of work stuff, I feel like I was like opening and doing things, but not putting things back to where, you know, they should be. Like everything has a home. And tomorrow, at least in the morning, I want to kind of gather everything, have a calm morning before, you know, the hecticness of birthdays, you know, can always be. And yeah, so I'm trying to go to bed early, but I did have a reading update for you guys. So I read a little bit more of A Winter's Promise, and Ophelia is just a very stubborn person. And on one hand, I can totally understand where she's coming from. You know, she's been left in the dark between Thorn and his family, and this whole marriage alliance is just outright weird. Plus, the culture of the Cité Céleste. So the Cité Céleste is this place. And yeah, I don't even know really how to describe it, how it's even possible, but it's just this, you know, land, I would guess, just hanging in the clouds above the pole, which is, you know, the ark that she's going to live on. And at this point, she's just been living with his aunt, but this is pretty much like a mother figure to him. Her name's Baronilde, or at least that's how I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. They're living with her mother, so his like grandmother, and then her godmother from her ark, Anima, Rosalind. And this whole time, basically, they just can't talk to no one. They can't go out in public. He doesn't really want her to know exactly what's happening. We just know that he's like this high society individual, that this marriage alliance is not looking great, looks very dangerous, especially for Ophelia. A lot of people probably want her dead. Definitely want Thorn dead. And then also they don't want the spirit of the ark to know Farouk for some reason. We're kind of getting like just like little pieces and tidbits of information about this spirit. He doesn't seem like the best spirit at all. I mean, he literally has favorites of his own ancestors, his own lineage. So yeah, we don't really know too much about him. We haven't met him yet, but I'm assuming we probably will. And anyway, so Ophelia is a very stubborn person, and she's very curious. So she goes into a mirror, and basically she starts roaming around the Cité Céleste and just finds people that she probably should not have been, you know, looking at, and they see her, they notice her. One of the individuals, he's very curious about her. I'm really interested to see his character flourish and thrive, because I know we're going to see him. And then there was another character that was related to Thorn. I think it's his sister. Yeah, it's his half-sister. I think it's his half-sister. Very mean person. She has her own family, and she was just like talking so much smack to her husband about just like, you know, society and going up in the ranks, and that he's not doing his job, and like kind of basically saying he's worthless. So she's a piece of work, I'll tell you that. And she sees Ophelia, knows where she's, you know, she's not supposed to be there, and then basically just scolds her for it, takes her home. And basically we're at the point where, you know, she told Thorn exactly, you know, what happened, because obviously she was caught, and he put her on strict lockdown. Basically, like, you're not going anywhere unless you have your godmother, someone from my family, or a servant. Like, you can't be by yourself. Like, heck, even a maid, a chambermaid basically, has to sleep with her in her own room. So yeah, she lost all freedom privileges, which obviously we know that this is going to backfire, because this whole thing about Olivia, part of her personality is that she craves freedom. And yeah, we're quickly going to see probably that whole thing falling apart because she craves freedom. She's curious. She lives in a place that seems really dangerous, especially to her. So yeah, I'm probably gonna read just a little bit more tonight and then basically until I pass out. My plan is to read a little bit more in the morning, but we shall see. Like I said, I have a lot to do before we go to Houston, and I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to read in Houston. Like I said, this is like within a 24-hour period, and it's gonna be back-to-back craziness. And yeah, I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to read. I'm gonna bring my book, but I don't know if I'm gonna read. I'll definitely vlog though for you guys because I think that's gonna be an interesting trip nonetheless. And like I said earlier that we are going to incorporate more fun things and real life experiences and getting myself out of the house for fun. So yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. But I just wanted to basically just let you know my reading update, tell you good night, and we will reconvene tomorrow.
We need more than hopes and wishes for us to make it through the night. Stormy weather, weary eyes, hope to make it through the night. For this night is yours, and will guide you when the morning's standing at your door. Brighter than all mornings come before. Don't be late, my dear. Life won't wait, my dear. Don't be late. When the day is longer than the night, the road ahead is...
Hello, welcome. It's 8:46 p.m. I have been reading A Winter's Promise. I just finished dinner. I don't know if you were able to tell what I made, but in one pot I made like a Dominican milanesa for Alex, and then in the other I made myself a Mexican green chili stew. It's one of my all-time favorites, especially it's so cold. Like, I literally have a jacket on in the house. Not that our house is like super cold. I'm just like, I don't know, I'm cold to the bone. And so my office is a little bit warmer. I just got up here. I've been working downstairs all day, ate downstairs. I've been reading a little bit downstairs, but I finally wanted to come up here just because my ring light is here and it's so dark downstairs. And I was like, okay, it's not gonna like show. And Alex is watching TV. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna kind of be in the quiet. I'm gonna go in my office for literally the first time today and just kind of like read, chill with you guys. This weekend, as you guys could tell, I did insert some clips before, but I went to Houston with Alex. It was within 24 hours. My mother-in-law turned 50, so we had this like big celebration with a bunch of family. A lot of family came from out of state that I've actually never met before. And me and Alex are going to celebrate our 11 years together in May, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if I've ever said that. Me and Alex are high school sweethearts. So if you're wondering like, oh my God, y'all have been together for how long? Yeah, practically since we were babies in high school. So we're high school sweethearts. Anyways, yeah, I have met family for the first time in person. I've seen these people on social media, but in person this week. So it was really fun and exciting. But we came back yesterday. I didn't really read too much. I had like, I don't know, time for like a chapter or two, and then I passed out. Was so tired. We stayed up till like 3 in the morning, basically like partying Saturday night. Stayed up until 3 and then woke up relatively early because we had like a kickback at his parents' house and it was really nice. And then I drove back, and I don't know, like if you're not from here, the drive from Austin, well, to Houston to Austin is so boring to me on 290, and it takes like depending on traffic, like 2.5 to 3 hours. And so I drove that and crashed when I got here. My voice, I feel like it's kind of coming back because I was like yelling and like having a good time and like screaming songs at this like place that we were at. And it was just like really fun. But I feel like I'm like kind of getting myself back together. But yeah, so I have been reading. I did want to give you an update. So I'm actually relatively, I feel like, far ahead. I'm thinking I'm at, where am I at? Oh, I just read this part. Oh, okay. I'm on page 305. I'm still not using a bookmark. I'm too lazy, and it's literally like one's like right there, but I have this much to go. So I have like 100 and like, I don't know, some odd pages, like 70-ish pages left. It doesn't seem like a lot because this book just reads really, really fast. But I don't know if I said this, I didn't realize this book was separated. So half of this book is called The Promise, and then the other half is called At Clair de Lune. And I didn't know what Clair de Lune was, obviously, until I got to it. But as you guys know, Ophelia is at the pole. She's at Cité Celeste, which is basically this like hanging domain where pretty much like all people live of all types. We do know that there's a hierarchy, so there are like people, we found out that, you know, basically people who are important are people who have powers, and then the servants and like maids and stuff like that, those are people who technically aren't descendants of the spirit Farouk, and they don't have any powers. And so in order to deem themselves somewhat useful or worthy, they have to like utilize their hands. So they have like a lot of hard labor jobs. So that's a fun fact that I didn't know, because I was really curious as to why they had a hierarchy. So I'm not really sure or too sure like how people don't have powers and some people do, because, you know, on Ophelia's arc, it seems like everyone has powers, everyone's treated equally. So I'm really kind of wanting to know why there's a disconnect between who has powers and who hasn't. I don't know if they're ever going to talk about that, but it's just something I'm curious about. But at this point, so we're at Clair de Lune. Basically, Clair de Lune's a location. We did meet a new person named Archibald. He is the ambassador to Lord Farouk. And at this point, I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy or kind of both. At this point, they're kind of picturing, or Thorne kind of gave Ophelia the insight that he's a person that she doesn't need to mess with, that he's kind of the bad guy, that he doesn't need to know about her existence, so on and so forth. And we've been curious, at least me as the reader, I've been curious as to why that is. And I think I finally like opened or like cracked open a little bit of Pandora's box with this, which, I mean, it's a good thing, right? So like we're kind of figuring out like her purpose as to why she is forcibly being married to Thorne, why she's on this pole in the first place, because let's be real, Ophelia isn't the person that you would expect to marry someone like Thorne. He is the treasurer of this arc, so he's like a well-to-do guy, and you're kind of wondering like, okay, like what kind of like Cinderella stuff is happening here? Like, she's definitely not like one of you guys, you know, why is she important? And so now I think we kind of figured out, just so happened that Ophelia was in a place where she wasn't supposed to be, overheard a conversation, and is kind of putting the puzzle pieces together about like why she exists at this place at all. And it's something to do with her powers, obviously. And it just seems like there are some really important artifacts that need to be read in order to say something. What, we don't know, but I'm pretty sure we'll find out rather quickly. But coming across this, I feel like we can now paint a picture of people who we thought were maybe trustworthy and hidden agendas and stuff like that. So I'm really curious to see as to how Ophelia is going to deal with this situation now that, you know, she kind of knows like, hey, so they actually picked me as his wife for a reason, and like how does she feel about it? Because I don't know, I'd feel kind of betrayed if I was her, or not betrayed, but like maybe thrown under the bus a little and kind of being blindsided, you know? I mean, she's been blindsided this whole time because she's never in the know, and she's pretending to be a valet. Oh, that's another thing. She's pretending to be a servant at Archibald's, because technically he did like come across her at one point, and well, she didn't tell anyone, but people are like, okay, he can't know your existence, no one can know your existence. There's like a fine line between like peace and war because of her. So she's been pretending, she has like this like illusion on her that she is a valet service boy, and it's been working really well. But yeah, she's been a servant at Claire de Lune, and it's been kind of crazy. So like the last, I don't know, 20 or so pages, we've just been in the day of valet and what that really means at Claire de Lune. Claire de Lune's a crazy place. So yeah, so that is my reading update. I'm going to read a little bit more tonight. It is 8:54. I'm kind of pushing my bedtime to 10 p.m. instead of 9. I don't know, there's something about like, I just can't go to sleep when it's 9 o'clock, but if it's like 10:30, I have an easier time falling asleep. So I'm gonna stay up just a little bit and read, and then just basically get ready for bed. My goal was to read 100 pages today, and I think I've read 30, maybe, I don't know. It feels like a lot. But maybe, no, I think it has been like maybe 25, 30 pages. I wanted to read 100. I don't know if that's possible tonight, especially if I have like an hour of pure reading time before I really start getting ready for bed. I was planning on showering too. So yeah, I am going to start reading again, and once I have a reading update, I will let you guys know what's the 411, what's the stitch. So I finished a chapter, or a few chapters, since I last talked to you guys, and like, I just have some feelings about what I just read. I'm on page 332, so I have just a little bit more to go in this book. And like, Thorn, am I supposed to like him? Are we supposed to fall in love with him? Like, I know that this book has romance, because when you look it up on Goodreads, it's like one of the first categories or genres that this book falls into. So I know that there's romance, but like, let's just be real for a couple of seconds, or a few minutes actually. So out of all of these pages, we barely encounter Thorn, and when we do, he's just a stubborn, stern, mean, rude jackass of a character who's the treasure of this arc, very well to do, everyone hates him. Ophelia is like, she's a reader, right? So I mean, obviously she can touch objects, but she's really good at observing just like normal human emotions and like little patterns and that wash over your face, right, when you're like upset or angry or confused. And she's not necessarily scared of Thorn. She's just like learning him as the days goes by. But you know, like, she's a mime, like literally a mime valet who can't talk, or pretending to be a mime valet for his aunt, Baronilde, who is vacationing literally at Claire de Lune, pretty much, and has Ophelia just running around as a valet, getting sick. She has tonsillitis, just very sickly at this point, and like, Thorn's nowhere to be found. But then we get this one chapter where he basically comes to visit and kind of like secretly leaves something so that she can return it to him, so they can have a one-on-one meeting, which is fine. And like, they do talk about something like a uncovering part of the plot, and yeah, so we'll get more into that. But like, he shows some emotions kind of on his face, and like, basically he was like, oh, I knew I told you that I didn't think you were gonna last till the winter, but like, it's already the spring, and like, you've definitely surprised me because you're like still here. And then she was like, yeah, like, I'm not a fragile person, and you know, I just don't think this marriage is going to work. Like, you're like, basically the life that you're giving me, like, I don't want it, it displeases me. And he's like, wait, I can prove it to you, like, just give me time, give me, I promise I'll give you a better life. And then after all of this, literally the last sentence was, he didn't have the right to fall in love with her. Damn right, Ophelia, he doesn't have the right to love you. But it's kind of weird that she came to that conclusion, because I didn't see anything in this chapter that hinted that he was falling in love with her, other than that he showed some different types of emotions. Like, he was humiliated at one point, and like, girl, what makes you think he falls in love with you? I obviously, for the purpose of this book, I'm pretty sure he falls in love with her, but like, am I supposed to care? Because at this point he has done nothing but hurt Ophelia and put her in such like a low-ranking fake position at a person's estate, essentially, who doesn't want her to get married. A lot of people there want her dead or gone or both, and it's like, what have you done for her? I don't know, he makes me so upset. This whole encounter just upsets me. So he has this many pages to redeem himself somehow, some way. I don't know if we're gonna get that, or maybe we'll never get that. But how am I supposed to care for him as a character when all he does is just torment Ophelia? He may not do it directly, he does it indirectly, and like, his aunt is just like, she has to go. She has to go as a character. But yeah, more to come. I just wanted to give you that little reading update. It's currently 10:02 p.m. so I did tell myself that I was gonna get ready for bed, but I want to continue reading. Like, I feel like I don't have, I mean, I'm definitely not gonna finish this tonight, because yeah, there's just no way, unless like I stay up, and I'm not gonna do that. So I don't know what to do, you guys. I don't know if I should just like tell myself to stop reading, wash my face, get ready for bed, or maybe I should just stay until like, maybe I'll just like read until 10:30. That way I can do like a couple more chapters and then call it a night, because I'm so invested now. The fact that we ended in that one sentence, he didn't have the right to fall in love with her. Now I'm like, okay, so the games are about to begin, like the real stuff. Like this, we've just been pre-gaming, now we're going to go into the real game. Anyways, let's continue reading, shall we? I feel like time just went by so quickly. I read 2 more chapters. Ophelia, she just like keeps getting into messes that aren't hers to begin with. Like, she's just so, what's the word, naive at this point. And like, I just need her to like, I don't know, she's so smart, but like, she just trusts too easily, and like, she's so confused half of the time. And yeah, so she got into like another like ordeal, but I think it's been kind of cleared up. In other news, we just hate Baronilde. I don't know if her character is gonna get like a redeeming arc sometime soon, but she is pissing me off to no end. She's just like the rudest, meanest, narcissistic, egotistical maniac in this book. She's just so mean. But yeah, so I am going to leave it here. I'm gonna pick up tomorrow. It is bedtime, unfortunately. As much as I want to stay up and read, I cannot. So with that, I will see you tomorrow. Hello, welcome back. Brand new day. It is lunchtime, you guys, and I wanted to update you guys just a little bit. So I read a hair yesterday. I've been working on a lot of birthday plans, so I didn't read too much, but I have less than 100 pages of A Winter's Promise, and I don't want to jinx myself by saying this, but I just have a feeling I'm going to finish it today, because I'm on my lunch break and I'm quickly going to like give you an update, and then I just want to like dive into this while I have time left on my lunch break, and then I'm going to probably finish it tonight. I would have finished it yesterday, but I was working on so many birthday plans. I'm trying to find dining space for me and my group of friends for the weekend, and then my actual birthday, which is during the week, I'm trying to find a place for me, my best friend, and my husband to go to. And you would think that's the easiest thing, but I'm so indecisive when it comes to the type of food that I want. I'm going through like steak, seafood, American, Hispanic, and I can't decide. I did find one place and I put a reservation, but I don't know if it's gonna be the place. Plus it's like at 10 something at night, so I don't know. It's just like just a lot. It's a lot basically. But I didn't get to read that much. However, so we're still at Claire de Lune, and I don't think I mentioned this, but Claire de Lune kind of reminds me of the hotel in the John Wick movie franchise, where like you and your enemies can go there and you're not allowed to kill one another. You're not allowed to really cause any type of tantrums or fights. It's just supposed to be a safe place, a sanctuary. So Claire de Lune basically represents that. And what's really funny is that Claire de Lune is also kind of just like an event performance area. So they have a bunch of like theatrical performances. They have chess, you can read, you can dance, you can eat to your heart's content. They have gardens. I mean, they just have so many things to kind of keep people entertained. Some people actually live at this place, and then some like people are passerbys, and you know, they just all entertain and gather. It's almost like Las Vegas, but in this one place. And there's an opera happening right now in the book, and it's just so funny. I really want to know how it's gonna go, but Ophelia's aunt-in-law, Baronilde, is in the opera. And we'll just see how that goes. But she is a part of this opera with her enemies, because like I said, this is a sanctuary, so like anyone and everyone can play a huge part in this. But the thing about this opera is that it's technically not in Claire de Lune. It's in the tower, I think, with Lord Farouk, and basically anything goes there. You can kill your people, you can fight your enemies. I mean, you could just do everything under the sun. And so yeah, we're just gonna have to probably gear up for something to happen during the opera. I kind of like have a feeling we know as a reader what's going to happen. Oh my gosh, Hercules is in the background, but I really don't know. We literally just got to the part where I'm on the chapter called the opera. And yeah, so basically that's that. As far as the romance goes with Thorn and Ophelia, I don't see it. Like, yes, he is opening more to her. Like, as a person, you can kind of see his personality kind of seeping through, but nothing romancy is happening. And Ophelia isn't even like reciprocating. Like, there's just nothing. Like, they're very cordial, so I don't really know how that's gonna go. I mean, I would kind of like them to be a couple, just because I do think that although they're really different types of people, I think that they would be a huge power couple together, and I know that that's what people are really scared of. And yeah, there's just like so many people. Like, she has so many enemies, and like some of them kind of know her identity, some of them don't. There's just like a lot of wind that Thorn is marrying someone obviously not from this arc, and yeah, it's just gonna cause a lot of trouble. But I'm so excited to see how this opera is gonna go, which is why I want to read during my lunchtime. I haven't read at all today. Like, literally this is all I've been thinking about during work. I'm just like, what time is lunch? Like, what time is lunch? When can I read? When can I read? So finally I kind of ate some soup. I have some crackers, and that basically is going to be my lunch, and then I'm just going to read really quickly. I think I have like I have 30 minutes left of my lunch break, so I'm gonna wrap this up here and then read a little bit, and then I will connect with you later on whenever that is, and I'll give you another reading update about the opera hopefully, and much more. Guess who finished A Winter's Promise? Could it be me? Yes, it is 5:27. I finished, well, actually I finished reading majority of this during my lunchtime. I was like full on just like reading as quickly as I could, and then I just finished, and oh my god, first of all, I need to buy the second book. I'm probably gonna do that this weekend and treat myself to only the second book. I really want to get the entire series, but I need to control myself because I do have a bunch of other books to read. But by golly, this was so freaking good, you guys. Oh my god. First of all, let's talk about the tension between her and Thorn. Icy tension. You can cut it with a freaking butter knife. And like, I just have this feeling, this huge, humongous feeling that they are perfect for one another, but they don't realize it yet. Well, maybe Thorn does, I don't really know, but he's sort of like shaky about having Ophelia and like giving her what she needs, and then Ophelia's just being like really independent right now, and I don't think she realizes that she's capable of love. Like, there are just certain situations that come across with her where it's like she doesn't know how love is, she doesn't know how to love, she doesn't know how to be loved. And I'm just hoping that the second book we see them kind of come together just a little bit, maybe, I don't know, slow burn, just a tad bit. That's all I'm requesting. That's all I'm requesting from this series, because I love Thorn. I know we're supposed to technically be mad at him right now, but I'm not. I never have been. Like, oh my gosh, I love him to death. Now, as far as the ending of this book, oh my gosh, we were left on a cliffhanger. They basically were going to meet Lord Farouk for basically the first time, because we didn't really, we got a glimpse of him at the opera, which was really funny, by the way, because Ophelia lost her oar. She's a rower, and it was just like really funny. But we barely saw him, we didn't talk to him, but I think in the second book we are going to, and we're going to kind of uncover more of why she's important, why she's a necessity to Lord Farouk and possibly many others. But of course, now that she's kind of been outed, a lot of people are going to come at her. I mean, there are so many people that wanted her dead in this book. It's quite hilarious, and well, not hilarious, it's hilarious and not hilarious, that the fact that she made it out alive, just in this entirety of this book, because so many people were coming after her. Crazy stuff. And yeah, so I need the second book, and I'm kind of like in a bit of disarray right now, because I technically picked the next book that I'm going to talk about in my next vlog. Actually, there's going to be 2 books, so I'm not going to talk about it here, but I did pick out another book already on my shelves. Like, before I even read this book, I was like, okay, I'm going to read this and then I'm going to read that, like kind of just, you know, mapping out my plans of reading. And I just did not expect to fall so in love with this book that I'm craving the second book, so much so that it's like, okay, it's the middle of the week. I definitely, like, being responsible, I do want to pick up the other book because I do want to start it. Like, I'm in this conundrum where I have a book that I really want to start, but now I have a book that I really love and I want to continue. And yeah, that's kind of the mess that I put myself in. And I mean, it's a good mess to be in, but I think I'm gonna just kind of playing it right now in my head. I think I'm gonna read, hopefully, this book. It's a little bit short. Well, actually no, it's a lot shorter than this book, like by half. So hopefully I can finish that, and then this weekend I can pick up the second of this and then maybe start it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. Who cares? I mean, I'm just so in love with this book. And then I'm gonna do also, my hold on Libby for Arsenic and Adobo finally came. So it's like I can finally but just finish the book. I think I have like 4 hours, a little over 4 hours left of Arsenic and Adobo. I technically have the actual paperback, but let's just be real. Like, I think the audio is far better. It's perfect, especially when I can like clean up and do things. I can listen to it, thereby reading 2 books at the same time. The one I'm currently, the paperback I'm gonna have, and then the audio. And then hopefully this weekend I can start reading the second book, which I don't even know what the second book is called in the series. I don't know actually any of the books or what they look like in the series, other than obviously book 1. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I am going to end this vlog off here. I'm about to eat some dinner and I need to work out. I've literally been in my workout clothes all day, as you can tell. I was supposed to work out. Well, my goal was to work out during lunchtime. Clearly that did not happen, you guys, but I need to work out today. I'm gonna be on the treadmill, but I need to eat, I need to do my pre-workout, and that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna kind of lay low today. I haven't been feeling too well. I have allergies so bad. I left this window open, and that was the worst mistake I could have done, because instantly it was just a mess. So I just have a lot of stuff to do this evening. If I can get to, I'll probably get to my Libby book. I'm not even gonna lie. My Libby book, Arsenic and Adobo, today, while I'm kind of like walking around the house and doing chores and stuff. But yeah, that'll be for another time, another vlog. But I really hope that you enjoyed this vlog. I hope you pick up this book if you haven't already done so. If you have, please let me know if you read it and your thoughts. Man, I have high hopes for her and Thorne. Ophelia Thorne, please, like, if you're hearing this, I'm just manifesting that the second book has just the tension that I need for some type of romance. Maybe a toxic romance, I don't know. Anyways, guys, that concludes this video. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I found a potential series that I'm going to love and just, oh my gosh, just fantasize me being in this book. I'm really hoping that we have the tension that I need between Ophelia and Thorne, whether it's icy, romantic, I don't know, I don't care. I just want more of them just in general in the next book, but we'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that. I really hope you enjoyed this vlog. If you did, don't forget to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. As always, I always have my social medias linked down below, so if you want to follow me on other platforms, feel free to do so. Let's become friends freaking everywhere. And with that, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.